It's about 9 o'clock. It's Thursday, the 12th, I believe. I'm going to, on a trip with my son, my youngest, to Liberty Science Center. So he's very excited for it. Very exciting. So I'm gonna get ready. Actually, I'm running late, so I just wanted to do this video before I get going. So I have a video recording of whatever I was thinking. So let me get going. Today is April 13th, 2018, and it's 10:14. Let's talk about yesterday. Yesterday was a very interesting day. As I mentioned in my last video, that Thursday was going to be my busiest day of the week because I went on a field trip with my youngest, my kindergartner, and the teachers sort of divide the class into groups, and some of the parents, well, it's me and someone else who volunteered to go, was given 6 kids to pretty much keep an eye on. I mean, the teacher kept an eye on everybody, but we had 6 kids we were supposed to look out for, and my son was a part of my group. I got you.
All right, Kate, we're using your whisper voice. Your eyes are glowing. Your
Look. Oh, okay. Oops, sorry. Go ahead. Hey, I put one for you. There's one in there. Mom, it's this one. You have to turn to push it over there. Wait until he finishes. A lot of stickers. Huh? The architecture is over there. Alright, Mark. Mark. Remember what did I tell you? What is this? World Trade Center? That's where you were playing with driving. They call them ID. What? Huh?
I want to do exercise so I can get strong.
Well, are you saying it just because your friends are here? Like about disease and stuff. Come on, let's pay attention, guys. Let's go. There's actually a map on the floor. Come on. Okay, switch. Mark, you go on the other side. So you could try the other one. Next, wait, get down, wait. Wait, I have to be set. Get down. Bring it to 0. Now, try it. After him, okay? No, I want my group to stay close by so I can see you guys. Stay here. Okay, 20. Next. Yeah. Okay, you have to try to beat 30. Mark, you got 30. 31? I thought it was 30. Oh, 18. Wait. 20. Alright. Oh, go ahead, try. Oh, okay, I'll help you. Okay. You stay too close, that's fine. Wait. Who's next? After Michael, Mark. Number 32? Yeah, you say that. Don't. My hope. Oh, 28. Oh, that was so close, Mark. Next. Wait, let me reset. Ready? You can do it by yourself? Wow. Go. 32 is the number. Blue group, stay over here. Go. Oh. 22, not bad. Ready? Okay. Mark, did you have fun? Come on, pay attention, let's go. Yeah, come on. You don't need to hold hands.
I want to.
Oh, Lord. Are you happy that we're leaving now? So yeah, it was kind of fun. And to say about the volunteering thing, I mean, not every parents can do that because they're working, this and that, and not that I could afford to stay home, but that's what's working for us for now. So one thing I will say is that if you have the opportunity, sometime, once in a while, volunteer with your school, with your kids' classroom or the school or something like that. I mean, not everybody can do that, like I said, but once in a while, I think it's good because as when I got home, I was thinking about it. I think I even mentioned it to the teacher that when they go on field trip like that, although there's 2 teachers per class, it's a lot of work for them to be outside in the opening and then to look after what I believe they have at least 26 kids, 26 or 28 kids. So it's a lot of kids for them to look after. So you know, this might be either in my, probably both my family channel and my fitness channel. So if you are working, I'll say once in a while take the day off. I mean, I'm sure there's vacation days. I remember when I was working at that time I didn't have kids, so that will not be a good example. But once in a while I will say use one of your vacation days or your sick day to do that, because not only is a good memory, but it's also a way to sort of help the teacher. If you are, I remember last year when one of my kids were in the, I think it's my youngest, when he was at the other school. So they create a Facebook page, so we usually interact among parents. So if you guys have groups like that, and you could talk to one another of with the parents, switch around. Once in a while, one of you will go, if there is a trip going on outside of the classroom or something like that, you know, talk to one another, see if you guys could volunteer, because I think not only it help the teacher, but at least you know a group of kids will be safer. They are safe with the parent, with the teachers and stuff like that, but when there are when there's more eyes you know, looking after the kids, it's really helpful, because some kids have different difficulties, challenges, and some just like to wander around. And you know, if the teacher see one of them is leaving the group and she ran after to get one group, and then while she's going after the other group, although the other teacher will be there, but it's usually harder. So the more eyes, the better. So that's my thing. And you know, if you're working, obviously it's good to be a good employee and all that, but sometimes to take part of your kids' activities and things like that is really helpful, because once your boss don't want you anymore, or they find someone cheaper, or they no longer need you, it's like this, they get rid of you. So sometimes you need to use that time, you know, use it for your own time, to, you know, I hope you get my point. But anyway, so that was the thing, and I'll show you little clips in there, but the majority of them will be in my family channel. I was able to record a lot. I wasn't sure I was gonna record. I didn't even take my camera. I only used my camera phone. So whatever, whenever opportunity came, I record little bits and pieces here. So yeah, I did record a good amount. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, oh yeah, why my day was so stressful yesterday. Not only the trip, and my oldest had they had a parents teacher, not parents teacher, like the school wanted to speak to the parents. So after the trip, we got back like 3 o'clock. I had to stay in the school until 6 o'clock to listen, and then I left the school like maybe 7 o'clock. So I was exhausted. So while we were you know, they explained their things. What are you doing? Put the pencil back. Oh, I thought you were writing on the pen.
Mark, did you find your filter today?
Their theories and their ideas, how they plan on proceed with the upper grade, 'cause my son isn't. So they gave, plus they talk about tests, that the state test that the third graders will be taking. I mean, I knew of it, and I know my weakness, my son's weaknesses. He has reading comprehension. He's a good reader, but he has a comprehension problem. So we've been working on that. As a matter of fact, tomorrow, Saturday, I told my husband he has to go because I don't want to be the only one doing all the hard work. And sometime when you're in a meeting, I might think I heard something, but it's not exactly what happened. I don't plan on recording while I'm at that meeting. So I told my husband he has to come so he could listen and ask questions, and that meeting actually is for my son to get help for reading comprehension. So the plan was to put him over the in that program over the summer, but I don't think that's the way this particular program works. It may be like a year-round or based on contract. So we're gonna go and talk to them and see how it is and how it fits into our plan. But I didn't want my son to start right away during school. I wanted him to do it over the summer. So that's something I need to listen, and I want my husband to be there and see if it's something we could agree on, or if it's something that fits into our plan forward. But we are working on helping my son. I already talked to him. He knows he has that problem and he wants to do well. So he already knew about all this. So that's the plan. So during the meeting, actually last night, as after they discussed their plan and what the test, I think it's called PARCC, PARCC. PARCC test is all about. They explained the time frame or how long the test it will take and things like that. The school does not know how many questions per reading or per sections. They have reading, math, and stuff like that. So the school just gave us the border idea, but they didn't go too specific because the test, they never seen the test. I think every year they change the question and how many questions and stuff like that. So they pretty much gave us a broad idea. I understood what was going on. And then after they explained all of this, and we had parents asking questions, their questions were valid, but some of them, it's like, it's so obvious that, okay, this is it. I think in one of the questions, that right now, I don't remember how long the test is. Let me just give an example. Let's say the test is 4 hours, right? So the school decided, okay, we're gonna divide those 4 hours into 1 hour instead of giving the kids to sit on one spot to do 4 hours of test. So let's say the first hour is for math. So they're gonna give them 1 hour to do the math. And the second hour, let's say, is a different section of the math or something like that. They're gonna give it to them. They'll give them a rest time. They probably go eat, do recess, and then come back and do that other second hour. So the following day, they'll give them the reading section for 1 hour. Okay, and then the next day they'll give them the last hour, the last 4 hours to do the other part, right? So one of the questions that one of the parents asked is why the test is so long, as if to say there'll be, let's say for 1 hour there'll be 60 questions. She didn't say that, but it just seems like it. So it's obvious that they give them that much time. Actually, I appreciate the amount of time that they give them, so the kids could go back after they do the test to see where they sort of if they left something a question blank, they could go back and take their time and do it. Because I've taught my son, my oldest, not my youngest yet, my oldest, is that usually when there's timing for a test, depend on, usually at the beginning of the test, they will tell you if you could go back or not, or something like that. The teacher will give you the instruction, right? So I spoke to him. I've been telling him that as you doing your test, do the questions that you'll do the first question, you'll read it. If you're having a hard time, for instance, figuring out what the answer is, mark it somewhere that you need to go back to it, right? And then continue your test. And each question you're having a hard time to answer, leave them, but mark somewhere to go back. Let's say question number 10. You on a piece of paper write 10, that means you need to go back to number 10 and then continue your test. If you stop at 16, you write number 16 somewhere, that's another question you need to go back to. So don't spend too much time trying to figure out a hard question when, for instance, the next question could be much easier. You could answer it and then continue on. So if, for instance, time's up, at least you get to answer all the easy questions, but the hard one is left empty. But you know, at least you try your best. But if there's extra time left, you go back, you look at your list, which question you left, number 10, number 16, you go back and spend more time on these. So that's how I taught my son. I hope he remembers it, because there are times he had, back then, right, in second grade, he had left answer empty. He was doing what I told him, but he never went back. So I keep on repeating to him that he needs to go back and to answer the question, or double check yourself, make sure you answer all of the answers. So as long that there's not, at that grade, I don't think it's like that, where you lose point for answering something wrong. I don't think it's like that, but I've been telling him that's how he needs to take tests, timing test, right? So the question the parents were saying, one of the parents were saying, is that why so much time? The kids, their mind could be wandering around, which is also valid. I'm not saying she's wrong for saying that, but you have to understand that the more time that they give, the better. But that doesn't mean they're gonna give 60 questions for 60 minutes. You know, 60 minutes is an hour. So they could probably give maybe 45 questions for 60 minutes, but the kids have more time to go back to answer the questions and double check themselves and things like that. So when I started hearing question that's so silly, or I don't know, I just left, because I've been out. I was out all day since I left my house. I believe we had to be there. I think I left here at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, and then go to the trip, and then stay. When the bus came back, I stayed on the school until like 7. So I was exhausted. So when we came back, I told my husband. My husband already knew he was gonna come and pick us up, so I told him we're gonna get them KFC. I don't usually like giving them that. I was not planning on cooking when I get home. So I told him, let's get some KFC for them. My son loves mac and cheese. It's not something he eats every day, so we got that for him, and what is that? Mashed potato and stuff like that. I don't like KFC. I was gonna force myself to eat it. Then I realized every time I eat it, I don't sleep very well. I feel like I'm gonna throw up, so I don't even bother eating any of the chicken and the the mac and cheese. I only ate the mashed potato, and that's all I had in my system going to bed. But I had made extra sandwiches, egg sandwich, when I was making for my son. So when we got back to the school, because I know I was gonna stay there for a long time, so I think I made like 4 extra sandwiches. So my youngest and I ate that, and during lunch I had made 2 sandwiches for myself, and my son had egg sandwich for lunch for himself. So I was okay. But you know, when you see food, sometimes even though if you're not hungry, you tend to eat. So I sort of control myself when I saw the thing. So after that, I pretty much brushed my teeth, took a shower, went to bed, and I told my husband, give the kids a bath. I was done, and I was knocked out, and I got up like 5:30 this morning. So this morning, back to today now, when after I read with my son, my youngest, I always read with him before in the morning, because in the afternoon, well, today's Friday, they like to play. Once they come home, they want to be free. So usually after they do their homework, Friday night, they get to play video game. They don't play video game during the week. So I read with him this morning, and then I was sitting around and I was like, you know what, let me go to the gym, get that out of the way. Pretty much did full body. Like I said, tomorrow I will not be going to the gym. I will be going on the meeting for my son, and everybody's coming. I can't leave my youngest, but I have to take them, and I believe they're probably gonna test them, depend on how I see it is, if I have to sign something or if I have to put him right away, we'll see. But they need to test him to see where he's at and where they should start with him. So pretty much they need a starting point. So I'm not sure if that's gonna happen tomorrow, if we're gonna make them test him, or we'll come back for another day, because I really want him to do it over the summer. The test is the state test that my son is gonna take. Okay, I want him to do well. Obviously, no matter what he does, I want him to do well, but I don't want to put too much pressure on him that he has to do well. I already told him when he came back as he was going back after the spring break, and I told him this is the last session for the school year, so he needs to try his hardest to do well, and so he could go in 4th grade. So I already told him that, and he knows he has to do well. But I don't want to pressure him too much about the reading comprehension. I already know he has problem with it, and I know he's trying hard to do his best. Unlike my youngest, he'll be a little bit more frustrated if he doesn't know, or he'll just leave it alone. But my oldest, he'll get upset, but he will still try. That's the difference between these two. So like I said, I'm not gonna pressure him too much, but obviously I'll tell him try his best and things like that. So if for instance at the meeting they tell us, me and my husband, that he has to take the test and he has to sign right away and he will start the program right away, I will not do it. I'll set up another appointment, because I want him to focus on that over the summer. Comes next year, I will expect him to do extremely well, because over the summer he will have the structure, the help that he needs to build up his reading comprehension. So this year I'm not too, like I said, I want him to do well, but it's not that crazy for me to have him do extremely well. It will be good, but there's no pressure on that. And then on Monday, on Sunday, I'm not gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna rest. But one thing I'm gonna do comes Monday, 2 things I'm gonna make sure that I do comes next week, that I do every time I go to the gym. That's abs and the leg, the band exercise for legs. That's a must. Every time I go to the gym, I must do, because I did not gain, well, I'll show you my weight. My weight's still within the 130s. It has not gone to 135. I believe I forgot what it was this morning. I think 130 something or 129. But I try to maintain that weight between the 130s and whatever, right? So last week I was thinking, okay, maybe I should put myself on a plan. And I know the minute I said that to myself, I find myself eating more. All right, so that was out the window. Eating more in terms of mostly rice and beans. I believe in one of my videos I mentioned my craving, or maybe I posted my Instagram. My craving lately has been onions and jalapeno, of all things. So I like to eat rice and beans, and then I'll put that on top of the rice and beans, the jalapeno and the onion. So I've been eating a little bit more rice than usual. Usually 3 ounces of rice is what I'm supposed to eat to sort of keep my abdominal flat. So right now, let me stand on that. The kids left a mess. If I point that video down, there's a mess down here. So right now, for most people, they'll say, oh, that's nothing. But if I know I could control that, and I know what caused my stomach to be big, there's no reason for me not to try to maintain it down. If I'm going to the gym, no matter how muscular you are and things like that, if your abdominal is pointing out, most people will say, what the hell have you been doing at the gym if your abdominal is that big? So like I said, it's not that huge, but I know for a fact it has, you know, bulged a little bit, and I already know what caused it. It's eating more than 3 ounces of rice. All right, so this is my abdominal. So come next week, because I haven't been doing any abs for a while, so I need to focus on that. Control my my rice, my carbs, and that will help also bring the abdominal down. So that's the goal. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm not gonna go to the gym over the weekend. This is why I did full body today. I didn't go too crazy. Most of my workout were mostly on machines. The only dumbbell exercise that I've done is the biceps and the shoulder press and the things like that, and the forearm. So that's it.